features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome everyone to this wonderful morning safari. We were just looking at the beautiful moon, and this is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live. Welcome everyone to a very cold morning. I think driving around today might make our faces freeze up, my ears for sure. My name is Ellie, and on camera today with me I've got Ferg, who's fresh out of leave, and I'm sure he's very happy to be back.
Very happy.
If you've got any questions or comments during today's drive, please make sure that you use the hashtag Safari Live, and would love to come back to you. Now, I think we're going to carry on straight down this road. There was a lion heard calling in the distance, but I think it's a bit too far away for us to try and go have a look. Nonetheless, there is always hope. Who knows, maybe somebody decided to be a rebel and abandon everybody else and come back, which is what we were hoping for. But I don't know. Let's see what's in store for us today. Very chilly morning, very clear sky, so I'm sure it'll warm up quite a lot as we go along. No lions roaring outside our windows, and I do believe that some of you mentioned that there was a lion seen at the dam camp this around about midnight. So roughly Taylor and I came onto the northern side just to check for boundaries, see if perhaps this lion decided to go back to the rest of the group. I don't know, however, if it was a male lion or a female lion that was seen. I think it was a male, but what I gathered from the information. But we'll see. Hopefully there will be someone around here to greet us this morning. Even last morning we had, oh my goodness, we're going through a very cold patch. We had a very beautiful Birmingham boy walking up and down, and I'm sure he went and met up with the rest of the males. So, heading roughly onto the Sydney's Dam area, because they were seen somewhere around there, but I think they've gone further into Manuleti. I believe the sticks are not too far away, so lions, especially the prides with younger cubs, they tend to move quite away from one another, and I'm sure they can pick up each other's smells and the noises that they make, and they always try to keep safe distance in between, because obviously the mothers are very good mothers, and the safety of their cubs is their priority. So I'm pretty sure that's why they have pretty much kept the property in the middle in between us. They are in the south, Djuma in the middle, and then Manuleti and Buffelshoek in the north, and that's where we think the Nkuhumas have been going around. Also, there are no strangers to the Manuleti Game Reserve, so I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to cross in there today at some point. We're going to carry on looking around, see if there are any signs of these beautiful creatures, but let's go over to Taylor, who would like to say hello.
Good morning everybody again, and welcome to a very frosty sunrise safari. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me today is Craig, aka Batman. But you might have just seen a glimpse of his thumb because he was too afraid to take it out of his pocket. That just shows you how cold it is out here this morning. Now we're very excited, of course, for another fun-filled morning. Hopefully we're going to see lots of different animals, but it is ice cold. It's probably one of the coldest mornings we've had. Luckily there's no wind to go with it today, because otherwise that would have just been too freezing, and I would have had to bring my duvet cover out with me. Yes, that's how cold it is. Now remember, this is a live and interactive safari, so if you do have any questions for us or anything like that, hashtag Safari Live, that is the way to get hold of us. Now, we're just up on Vulture's Nest at the moment, and in terms of predator tracks, it's very quiet down this end. I think I've seen one set of hyena tracks running around, and that's it so far. But we're just checking very carefully, we're taking it very easy, driving very slowly, and hopefully we're going to end up around Buffelshoek Dam. Here's our first animal for the day, it's birds. a whole family of crested francolins. They're making interesting sounds too. Now they also look very, very cold today. See how they're all fluffed up, looking more plump than they normally do. That's just to try and keep them warm. But even though they are cold, they're not worrying about it too much. They're still already out searching the grass, searching for insects. That one's getting a bit frisky. Look at it. Where are you running off to? Did you see something? I love the way that they give chase if they do see any insects. They are very sweet. And off they go. Right, well there we go. That's a good start. We've seen our first animal fairly quickly, so that's quite nice. That gives me hope. But let's go across now to the Mara with Jamie and my favorite animal.
Morning and welcome to another extraordinary sunrise out here in the Masai Mara. Though of course we're an hour ahead of everybody at Djuma, so for us the sun's been up for a little while and we've been wondering about doing various permit related things. My name is Jamie. This morning Dave is on camera with me. Well done, Dave. You managed to not knock the monitor off. At the moment I can see what you're looking at by virtue of the monitor that I'm looking at, that I keep forgetting every time I sit back down to go and drive off, and every time Dave has to remind me not to leave it sitting on top of the vehicle. So starting off our morning with a big elephant bull who's slowly but surely wandering towards the escarpment, and I realized as Dave and I were driving down, if today is in fact the 11th of July, which I believe it is, no, June,
That's right.
the 11th of June, close enough, that 2 years ago today I did my very first interview for Wild Earth, and I remember being absolutely terrified. That, of course, was the morning of Tingata, not Tingana, the male leopard, and the Stig's Pride, as opposed to the Styx Pride. So, how times have changed since then. Who would have guessed in 2 years' time I'd be sitting with Dave here out in the vast open plains of Kenya? 2 whole years, how time has flown. And what exciting times lie ahead, I wonder. Where will we be in the next 2 years? But it's been a very special 2 years shared with all of you. Right, don't forget, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. We will figure out where we're going to go. I think I'm going to go visit the lions quickly. And I have the advantage of knowing where the lions are, but Taylor does not, but she is on the search for them.
Well, I feel like we are becoming sharks in our search for lions. We keep checking the boundaries and swimming around in circles. All we have to do is go da-da, da-da, da-da. And I reckon that would be pretty much it, because we have been looking for them. But I think we need to go back to our approach that we will let the animals show themselves to us, because that's been the lucky approach that we've had in the past few days. So it seems like the beautiful big ball of fire is starting to come out and up and about. So let's see if maybe we can have a bit of a glimpse into the sunrise. What do you say, Ferg? Is that good for you? Rusty's a bit squeaky this morning. Are you cold too, Rusty? So just starting to come out, which I'm very excited about because I am freezing. This morning I believe it's 13 and 54 and 54? I think maybe that's right. And it is very, very cold. And obviously driving on certain roads. Whew. Isn't that beautiful? It's almost like it's in a nest that you have to wade through the trees to go and see it. And I think this reminds me of those old school movies about Africa and in the jungle, and how, you know, it would be the end of the night and the nighttime creatures, and then everything is going to be better now. That type of kind of creepy moment in the movies when everything seems to go fine. Oh, beautiful. And it is amazing that once you manage, thanks to this technology, to have a bit of a closer look at the sun, then you see that it's actually not round, and you see all those gases and that layer around, not only because it's blurry obviously, but you see that layer of gas, that little smoky part all around it. And I think this is a beautiful view for the day. There are no clouds in the sky today, so I'm sure that's why it's so cold, and I reckon the sunrise wouldn't have been as pretty as we weren't up here or looking at it from this direction. Look at that. So happy to see you, sunshine. I had the unfortunate experience of living a year and a half of winter, because I was in South Africa, and during the winter time I left in September, went to the UK, and then got back to South Africa in roundabout May. So I did a whole year and a half of winter. I was pretty much see-through. I don't think I had any color pigment in my skin. And then when I got back into the South African summer, I was so happy. But I am very happy to be in winter now. As much as I complain about the cold, I think this is by far my favorite time of the year. Look how quickly it's risen. I think in the next few minutes or so, it's just going to be out of our field of view, shining and warming everything up. Cindy, you say this is a beautiful sunrise. I agree with you. It's been so far quite a nice morning, and look at all the leaves and all the light that's coming through the eaten leaves. I'm sure little caterpillars have been going at it, or perhaps other little creatures, other insects. It's almost like a hidden mystery, isn't it? There's got a bit of a, yeah, mystery is a good word for it, into it. Sorry guys, I was just getting an update on the radio about where the lions have been moving around, but it seems like they are exactly in that area where we're looking at, straight into the sunshine, which is unfortunately an area that we cannot traverse. But let's not lose hope. Maybe they have decided, like yesterday the one male did, to come back all the way. So we shall carry on checking. So let's leave the sun that's been warming us in a very wonderful way and carry on and see if perhaps there's anything else around the road, if perhaps they've come around back to us. We'll keep you guys posted, and as we do, keep the good thoughts. Maybe they'll come back to us, hopefully. If not, we would love to see a giraffe. I'm still looking for a giraffe. Haven't been able to see a giraffe for the last 2 days. And I would like to spend time with a giraffe. Imagine that beautiful if we had a giraffe with that sunrise going up and the giraffe walking in the distance. That is one of my favorite views. Or having an elephant behind it. I think it's so magical. It produces a feeling that you can't really explain, doesn't it? Ooh. Okay. Let me heading down below. Sunshine, please carry on warming us up. Ooh. Anything around here? Kudus? This is normally a good area for kudu. We saw Nyala walking around earlier on. It's funny now that I think we just don't realize, because we see it every day, how quickly the grass is drying up. But this morning, driving on roads that we have driven before on numerous times, we start picking up things that were hiding in the bush that we hadn't even seen before. So Ferg and I were actually driving up one of the roads that we checked yesterday like 5 times looking for the lions, and just right next to the road clearly there was an old carcass, an old kill, probably from the lions. So it's funny how things that have been in there for so long are now starting to reappear, just because everything's starting to dry out, which is a good indication that we're going to be able to see further into the bush, which I'm really excited about. And hopefully it'll help us spot more of those sneaky, elusive spots that tend to hide away. And by those ones, I mean, I really like that drungon, the way that it was looking. Let's see if... no, they've flown away. There was a very... They were looking quite grumpy, those drungos, you know, just all fluffed up, looking like, I'm cold. But they seem to be fine now. You can almost see a little bit of the mist that is still left there, and look at that gorgeous sun. Oh, isn't that beautiful? That is stunning. Stepping Razor, you're wondering what it is about the African sun that makes it look so amazing. I don't know, but I agree with you that there's a little something extra. I don't know if it's the fact that we're out in the wild, that we're moving around, that we don't know what's around every corner, but it makes it very special, and it almost makes your heart quite full, like, I'm ready, bring it on. Ooh, this is a bird that we haven't seen all too often, and I don't know how we're gonna get to it. Do you see the... No, it's flying around. A few of them in the lower branch of the tree. I don't know if you can see it. The greenwood hoopoe. Beautiful red beak. Hanging upside down. Ah, now you're hanging correctly. A bit to your right. There we go. Moving in the tree. So these guys, they are normally in groups. There are a few others that I've seen flying around or moving around, but it's breakfast time. So you see it's got a very sensitive beak, and it's putting it in the little holes in the tree, trying to feel for any insects, any larvae, any little creatures that might be moving around. Where'd you go off to? I think it jumped into the other tree. Yeah, flying back and forth. Very stunning birds. Are you up? I think someone's flown off. There we go. It always amazes me how they hang upside down from the lower branch, from the top branch, their head on the one side, the tail on the other side. And they move quite quickly, and they're able to swap around. So someone's quite hungry because you're looking for food very desperately. So they're going into living trees, old trees, anything that they can find that's got a little hole where there's a possible insect that's hiding in, potential breakfast for them. They're very noisy birds as well. But I think now that, you know, typical when everybody's eating, there's silence everywhere. I think you are being sneaky hiding in there, aren't you? They're one of those birds that, because they make so many noises, their noise almost sounds like they're... Let me try and find it for you, and I think this will be better, and then you'll get my point a bit better, because I always laugh when I see these birds, and I think of the tracker that I used to work with at Lion Sands. His name is Noel, and I think he's one of my favorite people in the whole world. But he used to laugh because he used to say that I sounded exactly like this bird, which I don't think he meant in a very nice way. But he used to make fun of me a lot.
I'm just going to look at the sun while you do that.
No problem. I'm just going to play the call quickly so that you guys hear it. Imagine looking at the sun and then having this. So, as you can hear, very noisy birds, and they're always moving around in groups. And in the local culture, the Shangans, they call them the Schlager Mafazi. And Schlager or Schläger is laugh, and Mafazi means woman. So, you know, they pretty much call these birds women's laugh, because when they're noisy, they're very noisy and loud and just all over the place. So whenever we used to see these birds, he would turn around and look at me and start laughing and be like, yeah, this is you. Thankfully I knew he loved me, otherwise I would have been worried. Oh, hello sunshine. Isn't that stunning? I think we've been quite lucky with the sunrise views this morning. I love it when, you know, everything's just still. You know, that moment before pretty much everything gets going. Like we are about to do now. the light is just starting to come from the valley and illuminating everything around here. Maybe I need to change gears for this. Okay, we've gotten down below, so the sun is not shining here. Let's see. I want to try and shut this radio up for a second. Sorry, Alice, can you please repeat the question from David from Ireland? Well, animals are less active in general during the cold time. Imagine if you were out in a very cold night, you just cuddle up and you wait for the sun to start warming you up. So it's pretty much the same with a lot of the insects around here. Although they are able to survive during the cold part of the year, it just takes them a while longer to start moving. So as the sun starts coming up, they're gonna start warming up and just hang around in areas where the sun is gonna shine directly at them. And once they feel like they're warming up, then they're gonna carry on moving around. Let's see. Beautiful. Yeah, almost, I would say in the next few minutes or so, the sun's gonna start warming all of the grass up, because for now it's only reaching the sides of the trees, the taller parts. So still a while before everyone, you know, decides to start moving and having breakfast and just generally enjoying a good Sunday afternoon. Oh, now too bright in my eyes. Beautiful. Mita, your age, and you're wondering about fire, if this is the time for fire. Yes, I don't know if if you've seen the news. We actually, because it's so dry in some areas, like in the Cape, we've had pretty much a tragedy because the fire hasn't been able to stop. And the same here. Luckily, we haven't had any fires up here yet, but this is the season where everything's going to start drying. So for now, maybe we don't need to worry too much, but you will see a lot of the reserves. We have around the reserve what we call a fire break, and the main function is almost like a bit of a wider road, and the main function is if there's a fire, so that this fire is going to die as it hits the fire break. So everybody is going to start making sure that they maintain it even better during the dry season, because in the wet season, as you know, it's a lot harder for the fires to take over. But we've had some very terrible fires in the Sabi Sand about 2 years ago. Pretty much all of the northern section burnt down, and then a very huge part of the southern section burnt down. Lodges were almost on the verge of being lost because there was such a big fire. But in general, there's a lot of cooperation between lodges, and a lot of the rangers or different staff members in the lodges, they go through fire training in case that there is a fire, that everybody can go and help and just make sure that they're able to cut to make sure that the fire dies down, because there's a bit of a logistic involved, and clearly you've got to do it in a safe way, and you know, you don't want people to get hurt or anything in fighting the fire. I think for now we should be all right. But coming towards the end of the dry season, just as we start getting the first thunderstorms and lightning and everything's still very dry, I think that's when we need to start worrying, and that's where everyone's a bit more nervous, because towards the end of the year, just before the rain comes, everything is at its peak dry. And imagine if you have a lightning in an area that's very dry, all you need is a spark, and then slowly everything will start spreading. So hopefully that will not happen this year. I think this year was not as dry as last year. I think last year, in my experience, was very dry all throughout. Alright, seems like we didn't have any luck with the lions up here, but let's go to Taylor, who seems to be hot on somebody else's tracks.
I'm not so certain. You know what I've just picked up though, is I picked up some male lion tracks, and they were coming in from Torchwood and crossing west into. So we're hopefully going to try and pick up on this male. Now, I spoke to Lex on the radio. He said that there were 2 sets of male lion tracks coming in. Here he is now, standing by. I just said that I had male lion tracks crossing in from Torchwood going west. They crossed Cheetah cut line just south of Hippo Pools Road. There we go. Just reaffirming that update again. So what we're doing now is I'm just on Cheetah cut line. I'm reluctant to follow those male lion tracks because I know what male lions like to do. They just walk wherever they want, and they walk so quickly that he could be anywhere by now. And Lex is saying that he had 2 sets of male lion tracks actually coming from that the other lion could have just saying is that one of the other male lions could have just been walking in an area that could have not reached. But I think we're going to check the southern boundary just towards the Mulwati very quickly, just to see if anybody's crossed over there. If not, up Leadwood, then we'll check all the Drakensberg roads. But this patch over here is filled with gremlins. I'm going to send you back across to Ellie.
Well, we are not too far from where Taylor is, but I think we're gonna leave her to do the tracking. Sometimes I find it's easier when there's just one person looking around and finding where the tracks are. So I'm sure, well, I'm hoping Taylor's gonna be quite lucky with the 2 male lions that she's looking for. Hopefully they haven't crossed out yet. I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually just sleeping somewhere and also trying to warm up. Although maybe if they've been walking a lot, I mean, they could be quite warm already, unlike the rest of all these creatures that we've seen while we've been walking around here. Well, not walking, driving, because we're definitely not walking this morning. We have just been going up and down on the road. Goes like this, like a roller coaster, and every time we go down, Ferg and I stop talking and we start, like, you know, getting all stiff and rigid because we're so cold, and then everything, once we get back up on top, then we're fine. Alright, let's go down here and see if perhaps there's anything that we can find. Swap our luck around and move a bit further into the bush. Can't see any tracks around here, so I wonder if perhaps there's anything. I think maybe we need to go find an open area and go warm up like Mongoose. I think maybe that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Ah, you see, there's a clever magpie shrike that's doing just that up ahead of us. And he's also very stiff and fluffing around the same way that I would like to do it. Someone's looking quite cold. I think maybe, you know, this is like the same thing when you stand around a fire and then you start turning around the fire and then you start warming up your back, and then you're going to turn around and you're going to warm up the one side, and then you're going to turn around and do the other side, and then the front. I think this is exactly what he's doing, because he's just got his back facing the sun, so I wonder if maybe he wasn't, or it wasn't sunning facing the sun, and now it's turned around trying to warm its bottom and its very long feathers. I think you're very clever, aren't you? And again, all fluffed up like that. They're just trying to capture that heat that they're producing from their bodies and just use it as an extra layer of warming up. They don't have jerseys, they don't have sweaters or jackets that can protect them, so they have all these incredible evolutionary adaptations that allow them to feel like they're a bit warmer than what they really are. And of course, just because the sun is now starting to shine all the way up there, they've gone up to the highest branch. And if I was as light as them, then I would probably do the same. But I think that branch would fall off. We're going to carry on looking for the creatures of Djuma, but let's go to Jamie, who's been able to find lions.
Here we are back with the sausage pride once again, and of course with the sausage pride, they're little sausages. I still haven't got to know this pride at all, so it'll take a little bit of time before we get to know them in the way that we know the Nkuhumas or the Styx pride, for example. But they've been hanging out around this buffalo kill for the last 2 days, and I think at some point we'll be able to get a little bit closer. I'll just have to figure my way around. When you don't know the road networks, it gets a bit confusing. But I'm pretty sure we can get closer to them there and have a slightly better view. But how's that? Lions lounging in the shade with the most spectacular view imaginable. It's amazing how those fake cell phone trees stick out at the top of the ridge there. You can see so clearly. But we'll go back to the lions. Well, they've gorged themselves on the buffalo. There's not that much left of it. And it's time to sit and rest with very full bellies. Be fun to get a bit closer now, once the cubs have had their breakfast, to get a little bit closer so that we can watch them as they start to play. It's still nice and cool here. In this part of the world, it doesn't heat up. It doesn't get as cold as it gets in Djuma in the middle of the winter, but it also doesn't heat up as quickly as it does, so it's only going to get quite hot around about 9 or so, I would say, especially with the breeze that's blowing. Which for lions is great news, because it means they're going to be more active. Very, very noticeable notches on their ears. John, I have absolutely no idea why they are called the sausage pride. Morning, everybody. I would suggest that it's because there's a bit of confusion as to whether it's the sausage tree pride or the sausage pride. There's different names given to them at different times. I thought that antenna was going to hit you on the head, Dave. One of the vehicles has quite a large antenna sticking out of it. I suppose we should know all about that. I would guess and say it's because they've been associated with a big Kigelia species, so a sausage tree species. Oh, look at this. This is going to be beautiful. We've got elephants approaching. Elephants very often chase things like lions. They don't particularly like predators, but we've seen, while we've been around here, that the elephants generally, when they've got a lot of space, they're generally quite tolerant of the predator species. So if I duck, does that help you, Dave? Yes, much better. You don't want to look at my head when there's elephants making their way towards the lions. Oh, we've stopped for a second. You can see the wind making them a little bit antsy. I suppose it doesn't affect them as much as it might in Djuma, where it's so much thicker. I just need to steal my monitor back. Dave's showing us a beautiful view of the sky. It's a lovely sky, Dave. Hello, Ellies. And they've changed their angle slightly, so now they're actually walking towards us rather than the lions. And the elephants are just as relaxed here. See the big female on the left, long, long tusks. You're looking a little wide, girl. Have that slow, peaceful walk. There's a little one. You can see how long the grass is, because the little one basically disappears. And the lion cubs are watching intently. They've got that natural curiosity of the young. There you go, look at that. Hey, little ones. So we've got the lions watching the elephants approach, and Mary is saying, what sweet elephants. We're very lucky to be able to spend as much time as we do with the creatures that we do. That baby's completely disappeared now. You wouldn't barely know that there was a baby elephant there. Oh, bottoms. Indecisive as to which way they're going to go. I think they probably, because the wind is blowing straight at them, they can probably smell the buffalo carcass. Now, Arrogant Clay, you want to know whether or not the lions would ever hunt elephants. Lions can and do hunt elephants, and apparently they have been reported to hunt elephants in this area, but very, very seldom. You need quite a large lion pride, especially with males. Oh, there's water there. That's why they've stopped there. Especially with a male, because they just add that extra level of strength. But it's more common in places like Botswana, for example, where the lions go after elephants, because it's a very dangerous thing for a lion to hunt an elephant. I mean, hunting in general is dangerous. Buffalo, hippo, they can all cause a lion serious injury, but an elephant... Oh, wait, guys, I want to drink too. Tail out. Wait for me. And it's usually the young bulls at the back that lions will hunt, but they'll only really do it if they have to. And out here, there's no real necessity for them to hunt elephant, particularly in the coming weeks when wildebeest basically jump down their throats, essentially. They don't even have to go looking for prey. It just kind of is there. That female's definitely pregnant. Look at the way she's bulging out. Asymmetrically as well. I can't wait to get a live elephant birth on camera. That would be so special. I don't think it's imminent, just by the way, but it would be very special. Here we go. Everybody's had a drink. You can see slightly on alert, obviously because they can smell the lions and they can... Hello. Megan, you would like to know, how does she have such a young baby and still be pregnant? That's a very good question, actually. The baby might not actually be hers. She might be the matriarch of the herd. Though I can't see another female that it could belong to. No, it is her baby. Good point. Maybe she's just got a seriously full tummy. Because if you look at that baby, it's a little bit too long. There's two little babies, though. The gap between births is usually about 5 or 6 years. So there's definitely females in this herd that have had babies that's not just her. Perhaps we're not seeing... Oh, there we go. That's why. We're not seeing all of the herd. There's another female coming along behind. Alice, please don't forget to mute me. Zoe, no, the baby is not in danger of the lions at all. I don't think the lions are going to tackle this herd today. There's a couple of big females that have actually moved through in the back. There's a couple more still coming. So no, they will not in any way be a threat. In fact, the cubs might even move out of the way. The lions might move out of the way, depending on where the elephants go. Let's just stick here for now, because the elephants are getting closer. They've smelt the lions at least. I don't think they've seen them. And the gap is closing. And usually, the females tend to be slightly more disgruntled by the presence of predators. Can see trunks up in the air. They can smell them. They can't see them. Elephants' sense of smell is very powerful, but their eyesight is not fantastic. So they know something's there. They're just not quite sure where or what. You can see slightly unsettled body language from the youngsters of the group. Look at that! What an awesome opportunity that was for a screenshot with all those trunks in the air. Sniffing, sniffing, sniffing. And now, everybody's frozen. Look at that. Standoff. That distance looks a lot less with my eye than it does with the camera. It really does. They're probably now about 30 meters away. It's amazing how that works. It depends on your... If the elephant is behind them, it always looks closer. If they're next to them, they look further away, because that's about 30 meters. See, the adult's not too bothered at all. The big female is not upset. A couple of big females at the back that are probably the mothers of the calves, not concerned at all. It's the youngsters that are slightly on edge. Just sniffing. Okay, and there they go. The big female leading them safely away. Two of Africa's iconic animals in one shot. Well, since our elephants have moved away, I think it's time for us to get a bit closer to our lion pride. So while we figure out our way around, let's go back to Ellie, who's still searching for her lions.
Oh my goodness, yes, I am still searching for lions, and so is Taylor. I think, however, that we have pretty much the chance of finding just one of the bee boys. Ah, you've flown away. No, there was a hornbill digging. Alright, because they have found the two Birmingham boys and the Nkahumas on Buffalo's Hook, so they all seem to be doing just fine. But it also seems that one of the Birminghams and one of the females are mating. So they're all out and about still. Oh, hello. We found the trees with all the hornbills on it. How you doing, guys? Warming up nicely in the sun? Cleaning your beak, sharpening it a little. Very thorough. Scratching everything out of it. Come on, guys, do your call. We would love to hear you this morning. Very busy part here. Lots of birds making noises and moving around and, you know, and calling. But maybe this is where they all hide. You can hear the magpie shrikes with their very heartbreaking cry, and then there was a noise like that. One of the grey-headed bushrat. And all we want is just for the beautiful hornbills to entertain us with their call. Wonder what you guys are looking at over there. Are you just warming up? When we first arrived, they were helping each other. They were grooming each other, just helping each other get rid of all the little mites and ticks and just little parasites that they might have on them. And it seems like they've gone onto a very thorough part of beak cleaning, scratching everything around very, very fiercely. You see, the beak also gets a lot of dead cells around it as it starts regenerating itself and growing, so they do this to get rid of all the old cells. Imagine if you've ever been sunburnt, you know that when your skin is starting to fall off, then it becomes somewhat itchy, and then you scratch it and scratch it until it starts peeling off by itself. I'm pretty sure this is the same here.
Exfoliating.
Exfoliating, you say? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, this could be a facial, or you know, a hornbill version of a facial. Look at that face all fluffed up. Travis, you say that the closest thing that you've got to a hornbill would be a roadrunner. Well, hornbills are a very nice feature, so I hope the roadrunners are as well. But I am always fascinated at the fact that there's no rush in the bush. You'll see all of these animals are starting to wake up. They take their time. There's a crested francolin interrupting me. And they take their time in getting things done. So they've pretty much, all of them probably just come out of wherever it is that they were spending the night. And now they will proceed to start warming up. They will go through a thorough cleaning. They'll clean all their feathers, their beaks, and then they will start feeding again and then move around. So they just take it easy. They don't have that hectic schedule that some of us do, and you're just like, get up, coffee, shower, teeth, or whatever order you do it in, and then work. I think they wake up, they start grooming, they take it easy, and they start moving around. And somebody's got a few things in there that they need to get rid of. Yeah, maybe you haven't been cleaning your feathers all too well. Ah, are you showing us? It's almost like somebody starts dancing one of the toreros and then they're like, oh, my lady. This is their most important asset, so they've got to make sure that it's clean and in good condition, and this is why they spend so much time looking after their feathers. Because I mean, if something's not right, then they're not going to be able to fly as well, and it can be crucial for their survival to be able to fly properly. And to do that, then the feathers have got to be kept in the best condition possible. And there's something in the shoulder is giving it a bit of an itch. Are you coming through your feathers now? The birds around here making noises. And I think the magpie shrikes are being the noisiest ones of them all. Did you find a good spot in the sun? Alright, off you go. Maybe it's gonna go look for breakfast. I think maybe we should carry on. See if perhaps we can find anyone else looking for breakfast. I am certainly hoping that we will.
I thought you were going to say I found breakfast.
Oh, I found breakfast, no. Are you hungry, Ferg? I think Ferg is hungry.
I'm always hungry.
He's like, oh, I thought you found breakfast. Maybe we should start making something for breakfast and then bringing it on the morning drive. Okay, it seems like Jamie has found all of the animals in the Masai Mara, and now she's got another friend that she'd like to show you.
Look at this. So we had elephants stumbling into the lions, and now we've got hyenas, although I would say that these hyenas haven't stumbled in. They are here with every intention of trying to sneak towards the kill. So we're right next to the buffalo. The lions are quite far away. There's plenty of meat still on the buffalo. That's a termite mound, Dave. That's a buffalo. Good try though, good effort. Now there's not enough hyenas to challenge the lions just yet. There's only 2 of them here. But how bold are they going to be? You can see the lions not too concerned. Actually, the one female's keeping an eye on what those hyenas do. But the relaxed body language of the lions might just give the hyenas a false sense of security. Look at the way it's sniffing the air. Now imagine if you're that height. They know that there's a carcass here. They know that there are lions here. They can see some of them, but they don't know if they can see all of them. And a lion could easily be hiding in the long grass, perhaps even sleeping right next to the carcass. They're only 1 meter high, so the hyena can't see all that far. So it's got to rely on its nose. You can see sniffing, looking, listening, waiting to see whether or not it's worth the risk. One just that little bit bolder than the other. The elephants have moved off and the scavengers have moved in. So now what? Hyena? Is there a third one? Where'd you see a third one? Oh, there we go. There's number 3. Oh, the numbers get higher I wonder how many of them are wandering about. If this is the clan that lives around the escarpment, it might not be. I still haven't worked out exactly the hyena dynamics, but there could easily be over 40 hyena in this clan. So if they really were feeling the need to, they could call in reinforcements. There's a hyena bounding through the grass now. Good morning, David. Yes, indeed. I think that's exactly what the hyenas are looking around for. So, David wants to know if they're looking for a male lion. Yes, quite possibly. They're looking for a male lion. They're looking for a female that they haven't spotted. They're looking for anything, and particularly a male lion, because, of course, a male lion is just that much bigger and stronger than a female. And probably, because it doesn't have cubs to protect, far more inclined to actually attack. And once again, it looks further than it is, I promise. That's about 50 meters between the lions and the hyenas now. One female is still keeping an eye on them. She might be extra protective because she's got cubs with her. I don't think, I could be completely mistaken, because the grass is so long, but I don't think the male's here. I think he's moved off sometime during the night and gone off to meet up with his other coalition members. And Julie, there we go, perfect opportunity to answer your question. Even though we're looking at a hyena, it's relevant because, well, it's the thing that the hyena is scared of. Julie, yes, a male lion can have more than one pride. That's why we don't talk about males in a pride. That's why we talk about a male coalition. So a male coalition will control a territory, and it could be one lion, although he's at a distinct disadvantage. It could be 2, 3, 4 at a time, even up to 6, sometimes 7 or 8 in very extraordinary recorded cases. And what they'll do is they'll control a territory, and the more there are, the bigger the territory can be. And then that territory will encompass the territories of several different prides. So it might be that you get a coalition with just one pride that they control or that they're dominant over. But in the case of this current coalition, from what we understand, and bear in mind that the information I'm giving you now, we're still coming to grips with the dynamics in the area. We don't necessarily know it as well as we do the lines of the Sabi Sand. But the 4 boys that control this area, as far as we know, are dominant over the Sausage Tree Pride, or the Sausage Pride. We need to figure out what the official name is, and the Ngama Pride and the Olololo Lions. Say that 5 times fast. Olololo Lions. And welcome to Mita. As always, you want to know how many prides there are in the Mara. Sure. That's a difficult one for me to answer. I would say, I'm still getting to know the different ones. I would say that there's probably, what did we count yesterday? Over 150 lions in the area that we're driving around. There's a couple of different prides. So let me just list the ones that we know we could see, and it might help you to just get an idea of how many there are. Let's count them together, shall we? So we've got the Ngama Pride, the Olololo Pride, the Sausage Tree Pride, the Paradise Pride, the Serena Pride, the Magoro Pride, the Ridge Pride, the Salas Pride, the Marsh Pride, potentially, we still haven't seen them yet, the Border Pride, the Egyptian Goose Pride, don't ask me, the Ngiro Are Pride, the Purungat Pride. So already we're on 13 different lion prides. That's a lot of different lions that we still have to get to know. And we still haven't learned the different members yet, because a lot of them are really spread out. Remember, this is a much, much bigger area than we usually drive around in. And obviously, for those of you that are new to these live safaris, you will see that there are other vehicles with us in the sighting. That's because people come here to see these amazing sights. Like, for example, the situation with the hyena and the lions watching each other. We're not going anywhere. I think we're in the perfect position if these hyenas do come towards the carcass. So, we're going to send you back over to Djuma to find out whether or not Ellie's had any more luck with her lions.
Well, it seems like Jamie has got all the lion luck this morning. Sounds like it's been an incredible few days with the sausage pride. We are checking around a potential area towards where there were the last tracks for one of the Birmingham boys, but we haven't been able to find anything around here, so we just thought we'd have a good look around, just perhaps see if there is something indeed lurking around. Maybe there's one of the boys that has not managed to get all the way back to the rest of the pride, and that was kind of the one that we were hoping for, but I think that he might have gone there already. Cannot see any tracks for them around the road. Nope, not too much going around here. Right, maybe we'll see some elephants. Elephants have been good around this area. Brianna, you're wondering if animals are more active during the day or during the night. Well, it depends on what animal it is. Some animals are more active during the night, or they will move more in comparison to the daytime, and then some animals will move more during the day. So animals are potential predators like lions, leopards, jackals up to an extent, wildcats, servals. They tend to move more during the night, and we have very specific nocturnal creatures like, for example, the aardvarks and the porcupines, and they move during the night. And then we've got a wide range of creatures that move during the day. For example, the elephants and the buffalo and the antelope, and they are a bit more active during the day than during the night. Let's see, maybe let's just go all the way up here, see if we get lucky. We'll carry on looking for these animals, and we'll give you guys an update soon, but let's go over to Taylor, who's been doing a bit of tracking herself.
We've been quite a bit of tracking of various animals. We've been following up on male lion tracks. We've got some male lion tracks that came in from Shubamu and Gari, Maine. And I suspect that this is one of the Birminghams that, of course, they've actually, a lot of Birminghams have been found north in Buffelshoek. It seems as though the youngest Nkahuma lioness is mating with one of the Birmingham boys. I'm uncertain as to which Birmingham boy it is. I'll try and find out a little bit later. So that's quite exciting to see that she's still mating. Hopefully some more cubs on the way. And then we picked up on some female leopard tracks as well, and some young male leopard tracks. So I don't know who was moving around here last night, but we haven't found any more. I think they went into Little Gowrie, sadly. But I wanted to just very quickly point out, just on the side of the road, even as we look here, you might see some weird patches in the sand. Those are all male lion tracks that you can see. It's just from one male that was walking down on the road. You can see them quite easily. Look at that. See there? So this is obviously very late last night. But off they go. Now we're quite close to the hyena den, which I'm sure all of you are now jumping for joy as I say that. Let's go try our luck again and see. Maybe today is the day that there will be some hyenas around. But let's go and investigate. We're not far. It's just up ahead. Oh, there's also an impala. Hello, impala. A nice looking ram. All on his own, walking straight towards the hyena den. Not that it has particularly got anything to worry about. Hyenas do hunt, of course, on their own. In the southern sands, they like to hunt kudu. Quite interesting. But I don't think that one will be worried too much. Impala, he'll be alright. Let's go and check this den. Bye, Impala. Be safe. But no leopard tracks coming out this way. Still just checking up in the trees, seeing as though if Shongile is going to be about, that seems to be his favorite spot, is to sit up in a tree. And it's a good spot because that's especially first thing in the morning, that's the first area that gets the lovely warm sunlight. And like I said, it's cold this morning. I don't think I've ever been this cold in the sands before. I was freezing this morning. Right, we're going to go searching at this hyena den. Hopefully there's going to be something around. Ellie has got some form of antelope.
We have a walking away antelope, which is not my favorite kind. Well, we had a beautiful Nyala bull, or a youngster still, and there's another one around. and they were just busy feeding, so beautiful in the golden light, but I think they have decided to now go off and just carried on moving. So we're gonna leave them because we can't see them anymore, and I don't think going back and forth is really going to help us all that much. As you can see, there is no sign of them all around there. But let's carry on and see if perhaps there is anything else while Taylor makes her way all the way to the hyena den. Hopefully the cubs will be around this morning and they'll be a bit more playful. I think with all the lion activity we've had close to the den the last few days, they've been quite shy and they haven't been coming out during the times that we have access to the den. So all my wishful thinking goes to Taylor. Hopefully she'll be able to see one of those tiny little ones, because I'm sure everyone's wondering how they're all doing. And hopefully we will get some good news. Ah, no, don't run! There's another Nyala that just ran away, but this one was even younger. It was a young male and just had its tiny little horn sticking out, and it's still of very much reddish color. Whereas the male we were looking at, a lot older, they both had already turned black. I think these are the most beautiful antelope of them all. There's a mother and youngster. We can. Let's try. I'm gonna see if maybe Rusty will be able to go there. The good old method of just pushing manually. Hello, little one. There's the mother going at the back. And we can just see the stripes. Those beautiful dots. I think these ones are my favorite antelope. They're just such stunning creatures and so shy and always moving away. And I see branches moving, so maybe that youngster started running around following the mother. Could be that she is the mother of that youngster, and then this little calf following behind. That's the newest one. And because the other one, or the young male, is not old enough, he gets to still be walking around with mum and just sticking in a general area altogether. I'm gonna try going forward, see if perhaps we get a better view of them, or if not, then we will try to leave them. Where have you guys gone off to? Are you going to stay there for us? It would be wonderful if you did, because you're so pretty. There we go. Don't run. Look at that. A young boy. So as they start becoming older, then he's gonna start turning black, and all that beautiful top orange coating is going to be lost, and just the legs are roughly going to remain the same. Having morning breakfast, aren't we? Can hear them nibbling around. Up they go. Right, let's leave them. I think they are having breakfast and they seem to be enjoying it quite a bit, so we shall carry on. Perhaps we'll come into Buffalo Dam and see if the buffaloes are still hanging around there. Okay, while we do that, let's go back to Taylor and see if she's arrived to the hyena den yet.
We have already been to the den. We had a little look around there, but no sign of it being active. Now, I know a lot of you are wondering, why don't I just sit there and wait for the hyena to come out? But unfortunately, we can't actually do that. Unless there is an adult present at the den site, you shouldn't be viewing those cubs on their own. It's the same principle as finding little leopard cubs or little lion cubs and then just sitting and watching them without any adults around. Once again, it's a den site, so we had a look. Didn't look like anybody was home. The little ones are probably just inside having a siesta, and we'll just have to keep checking, going back regularly until one of the adults do arrive, and then the little ones come out, and then we can quite happily observe them. So we will continue. We're going back down Philemon's cut line now. I haven't checked this road. I don't think anybody has, because the male lion tracks that were just on this little section between Shibamu Road and the Den, they're right over yesterday's tire tracks still. So no, it doesn't look like anyone's checked here. Everyone's been checking the north. Everyone's in Buffelshoek at the moment, following up on the Nkuhuma Pride and all the Birmingham boys. Some of them have been found, but the bulk of the Nkuhuma Pride and the cubs have not been seen just yet. So I'm going to check all the way down here and just keep popping my head over the side to see if there are any leopard tracks. But so far, it doesn't look like there was a leopard walking here. We will keep searching. I think we'll just quickly check the Gari Main as well. Have a look if anything walked down the side, and then if not, we'll probably take Zoe's and then move into the western sector of the reserve. Maybe those leopard tracks that we were talking about earlier, maybe it was Shadow, but I thought I also saw some young male leopard tracks. So I don't know who else it could be other than Tandi and Tamba. But Shadow hasn't been around here, we don't think, for the last few days. So I wonder if she hasn't slowly started moving back to the western sector. And maybe we'll have another morning where she catches something and she brings it back this side. Because I haven't seen any little leopard tracks to go with any of the leopard tracks we have been seeing. We'll just have to wait and see. Now I did check what roads did I drive yesterday afternoon. I'm just trying to remember my routes. I think I did come down the side and I had a look around. Yeah, we did. I came in with Ferg and I didn't see anything in particular. So hopefully if we pick up on any new evidence of cats being around, then we'll know it would have happened last night after yesterday's safari. So that'll be good. I think Impala Plains can be a winner sometimes, because we forget to drive there just because we're so drawn into following lion tracks or another cat species or wild dog tracks. We forget to check this western sector. No, those aren't any tracks. Lots of Impala tracks around, as usual. They litter the roads like you cannot believe. They do make a gorgeous pattern though. Remember that one day that I just thought it looked so beautiful? I thought that would make such a great wallpaper to have Impala footprints, maybe in a silver or something, and then a pastel color to fill the gaps. I think that would be very beautiful. Maybe one day in my home I'll have Impala wallpaper, Impala footprint wallpaper. See, I'm also keeping an eye out for any interesting nocturnal tracks that we can have a look at. Seeing as though we were doing a bit of tracking yesterday, we looked at that bird dust bath track. And we'll see if we can find any more of those. There's more male lion tracks going this way now. That's interesting. I don't know how many Birminghams could have been on the property. They really seem to be stepping up to the plate now, the Birminghams, and looking after the territories exceptionally well. I don't know if you remember when I first arrived here in September last year, they were very uncertain as to what they were supposed to do. Remember, it was their first pride that they'd mated with, now the Nkuhumas. So they've been around, they've now learnt what they have to do, and I think they've realised that they actually have to come through the properties and mark their territories on a regular basis. Okay, let's go and check. We're just going past the brown ivory tree now. Just check Gari Main to see if there's anything here, and then we'll carry on going west. Megan, you're wondering what is the name of that huge tree that you always see in Africa? That's very vague, I'm afraid. There are many huge trees in Africa, some trees limited to areas. I'm not sure. Are you perhaps talking maybe about the baobab, the one that looks like it's growing the wrong way around, like the top of the tree is actually roots? Perhaps it's that one. It could be the enormous leadwoods that we get, because they get quite big too. Nyala berries, jackalberries, marulas. It really could be any. Even the fig trees, my goodness, they get quite large too. So it could be any of those trees, Megan. I'm not sure, but maybe if you can be a little bit more specific in the area. Maybe it's the umbrella thorn, Acacia tortilis, the one where the giraffe always standing next to. That's on every African postcard. We don't have too many of them around here. There's some. I haven't seen any particular big umbrella thorns Hang on, who is walking here now? These look like old no, they've been marked, so I'm looking at old lioness tracks, but they've already been circled, so that must be from the other day. So I haven't seen too many big umbrella thorns this side. Down south there were one or two really big ones. Other than that, here I've seen some dwarfed ones, just because what animal doesn't like to feed upon an acacia? They're very high in various nutrients, so they're heavily browsed upon by a number of different animals, from kudu, nyala, bushbuck, impala, and then right up to, of course, giraffe and elephants. And acacias are the favorite food of the giraffe. And I always found, if you want to try and look for giraffe, go to areas where there are lots of knob thorns, because it's also an acacia. And then any of the other acacia species, if you've got pockets of those on a particular area where you can traverse, you'll often find the giraffe browsing there. In the Eastern Cape, we always used to see the giraffe and the acacia karoo belts, and just sort of surrounding the drainage systems and the river lines. I always see tall heads popping over the tops of those trees. Just check here, there's so much going on at the moment. These Birminghams were very busy last night. They've pretty much walked on every road we've driven on this morning, but do you think that we can find any? Nope, because they've already left in the north. Right, we're going to keep searching around here. Maybe we'll try locate that herd of elephants that we've been seeing for the last few days. I'm going to send you across to Ellie, who's on her way to Buffelshoek Dam.
A herd of elephants would be nice for anyone. So maybe there will be one when we get to Buffelshoek Dam, although I think all this dung that we're seeing on the road ahead of us is actually old. So let's not lose hope, we are almost there. Maybe there will be something else, and if not, there's always our happy, grumpy hippo friend. And I say happy, grumpy because I don't think he's decided what he wants to be. Some days he's very nice and, you know, he'll do all these wonderful things for us, and then some days he's just like, nope, not sticking my head out of the water, not even a little bit. So let's see what mood he's in today. Almost there. Oh, also a very nice spot for us to warm up. We should have come here earlier. Huh. It would seem that nobody's home. I think the hippo he's maybe walking around, because we see his tracks often as we move around this area. So maybe he's still busy eating somewhere. I can't seem to see him. Just want to wait a few minutes, see if perhaps he's underwater and where it should be slightly warmer. But it seems like he's not. Quite an empty spot today. Alright, we're no luck here. Let's go around. Okay, Buffelshoek Dam, you were not too friendly to us. Seems like everything that could potentially live here has decided not to be here. And sometimes the hippos, they will stay underwater and not come out because it's still a bit cold outside. But my money's on the fact that I'm pretty sure this hippo's just eating somewhere. So maybe he's somewhere around where we can maybe see him. Because I know we've been getting very lucky seeing all the hippos outside and out and about in the Mara. So now that it's slightly cooler up here, then I'm hoping we'll be able to see one of them move around as well. But maybe not this morning. Maybe we just needed to give this hippo a bit of a notice and just let him know that we would like to see him outside. Bye bye, Buffelshoek Dam. We shall carry on onto the Cutland and then come all the way down, and that way we would have completed our shark round of the northern boundary. Zoop. Abigail, you're wondering if we ever go on foot where we are. Yes, we do. We do it often. And a lot of the times we do it with the cameras as well, so that you can see everything that we see. And it's a great experience. We see all sorts of little things, because normally when you go on foot, then you're focusing more on the insects, on the plants, the tracks and signs of the animals, and not so much about finding the big animals. Let's go over to Taylor, who's managed to find indeed one of those little things.
we have indeed, we found Mongoose Mansion at the moment, and of course the mansion is in the form of a rather large termite mound that doesn't seem to be particularly active. There's lots of grass growing around in it, but they're very happy, warming themselves in the sun, just as Craig and I are doing at the moment. It is turning out to be a lovely morning, really, really quite nice. And if we sit very quietly, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it, but there's so much scratching going on in the grass. There's a lot of rustling. There's so many little mongoose running about. Some of them are early risers, just as us as humans, though I suppose there are some that wake up before others. Those ones are just waking up, just warming themselves up, not quite ready to go about their day, while the rest of the family group is all off here. There are a whole lot of them, and I'm not really too surprised, because they've chosen a rather large termite mound to live in, and you can see it's quite big. You've got those two just sitting right at the top of the mound, scanning out. They're actually focused on us at the moment, but they will be listening out to anything else, looking for any predators, from the form of raptors, in the form of snakes. I think it'll be a bit chilly now to have a snake moving around, but even something like a little jackal or along those lines could be out and about here. Now these little creatures are also so intelligent. We often, the last few weeks, we've been asked what is the most intelligent animal out in the bush, and I think we've forgotten to mention the little mongoose. I think that they're quite smart as well. They're very good seem to be very good at problem solving, and again, a group of animals that live together. I think any of the animals that live in herds like this, and particularly these smaller creatures, I think they've got to be super smart to try and outwit the raptors, the snakes, and all those types of things. You're very fluffy, aren't you? You also look like you're a little bit cold, don't you? Look at those massive claws that they've got in their feet. That's also something that is so impressive about a mongoose, is how sharp those claws are. I mean, they look so delicate and dainty, but they're able to dig right down into very hard soil, so I don't think they're as dainty as what we sort of think, or brittle. I think they're quite robust. But those seem to be the last two, and once they go, where are you guys off to? They're going to go start foraging, and then we might be able to see some more. There's a couple that have come out. Actually, Craig, if you look just in front of us in the middle of the road, but watch, now that I've pointed at them, there's one looking at me. They're going to run away probably, but we've got those two. That one at the back looks like a little one, a youngster. Riley, you've said that they look like little brown bears. I suppose, yes, very small ones, because these are the smallest little carnivores that we have in this particular area, Riley. Now, they were digging in the sand, just looking for any grubs or anything that's perhaps pupating underneath the ground, even any other insect, really, whatever they can find at the moment. I think it must be quite difficult for them to find food. In summer, they have an absolute blast with all the caterpillars and things that are out and about. There's a lot of sustenance for them to find, and we were talking about this yesterday with the birds. Obviously, everybody in winter struggles. It's not just the herbivores that are feeding on the dying grass, but it's also the little animals that feed on insects, so they all start to struggle. And now the nights aren't as warm as they normally are, so the insect life is also less and less. You two are very sweet, aren't you? But you can see the size difference, so that one at the back is quite young. Now I'm hearing in the very far distance, I hear some branches breaking every now and then, so I wonder if that herd of elephants is possibly not nearby. They must be around somewhere. Do you see how it was looking up at the sky just now? There's an aeroplane that's flying about, so that was really funny. Let's see if they notice it now. The aeroplane's about to fly over the top of us. Oh, actually a bit nervous. You see that running off for cover? That's the aeroplane you can hear. A small little baron or something like that. Maybe even it's a baron. That one's not is risking it. Did you see how the older one, more experienced little mongoose actually darted off to the grass as soon as it saw that? Now, I'm sure they know that those big things don't come down and attack them, but it wasn't taking a risk, because you never know. That sound could have muffled, and they maybe didn't hear an eagle as it was calling overhead, and it would have swooped down and snatched up this little guy. But you'll learn as you get older that you rather play it safe, and you rather, of course, run away and hide in the long grass than stay out in the open like that. Let's go and investigate. I really want to go and figure out what's making all that crashing in the branches. Okay, we're going to leave these mongoose go about their day now. There's crashing in the branches, breaking branches down that side. Let's go find those elephants. Ellie has got a bird.
We do have a bird that we don't get to see all that often because they move around quite a bit. So this is the beautiful crested francolin. We hear it calling and it always makes a racket every morning and every afternoon, and gets the name from that white crest on top of the eye. I think we have managed to find 2 of them sitting on the tree. There's the one there, and then the second one a bit further into the back. And I think maybe the one on the left hand side, that's the female, because she seems to be a bit duller in color. And then the brave male starting to move around on the branch of the tree. And I think he also thought that maybe I'd find something to eat, but then dropped it again, so maybe it wasn't as yummy. So we don't see them all that often because they live on the ground and they move in between thick bush and the grasses, and they only come onto dead logs like this one, either when they're trying to warm up like these guys are doing, or if there's a potential predator, they hear something that they don't like, then very quickly they'll go up a tree and then start looking around and making their alarm call. So, fluffing up. And they are quite aggressive in the way that they groom themselves. I mean, look at that, it's almost like it's attacking itself. I think the hornbill we saw earlier was a lot more gentle, but maybe this one's got a worse stage. And they are, I would say, roughly the size of an older chicken. When I see them often. Look at that. Beautiful. Those feathers with a stunning white line in the middle. It is something to behold. Ah, somebody's coming. Are you also cold? Starting to move around on the log. I think maybe they've also had a bit of a later start. It was chilly around here, so I wonder if maybe they didn't come actually from down below in the drainage line and started moving all the way up. Found a nice comfy spot to start grooming themselves, get everything going. Seems like our francolins are quite settled here, but let's go to Jamie, who's feeling like part of the pride, moving along with all those beautiful lions.
Alright, so the way that our situation played out was the hyena got a little bit too close to the carcass, the lioness stood up, and the hyena ran away. So something of an anticlimax, but it has meant that I think the 2 mothers were just slightly concerned about the safety of their cubs and decided actually it might be better to lead them a little bit away from the kill itself. They've obviously decided they've eaten their fill, they've got 2 little ones with them, and so they've led them off into the shade. There we go. Well done, girls. Perfect spot. Plenty of shade. There's some water. The ideal place to spend the rest of the morning. And once these lions lie down, I think that's pretty much it. They're going to disappear into the long grass. You can hear the guinea fowls not terribly happy with the presence of so many big cats. I can hear them. Can't see them. It's a sound that's so familiar in an unfamiliar area. It was interesting watching the hyena-lion dynamic. The hyena was watching the whole time what the lions were doing, and it was only when it came within about 20 meters or so of the carcass that the one lioness stood up, and immediately that signal was received by the hyena and it turned tail and disappeared. But it was a game of patience, because now the lions are far enough away that those hyenas could go straight back to that buffalo kill. If this is the sausage pride, which we've been told it is, there should be more females. Obviously these 2 are separate, they've got two sets of cubs with them. 2 little ones and 2 big ones. But let me just try and remember. I believe we were told that the Sausage Pride has 5 lionesses. No, 6 lionesses. Apologies. Yoli, there you go. You were wondering about how big the Sausage Pride is. Apparently it's got 6 lionesses and 5 cubs. I suspect that's now 7 cubs with the addition of these 2 little ones, and we haven't added that onto our list. We've kind of been trying to keep track from what we've been told and what we've been taught by the other guides, and they were the ones that have told us that this is the Sausage Pride, but we're still trying to get to grips with the dynamics. So where the other 4 females are, presumably with another 3 cubs elsewhere, I do not know. That's quite common though, for lion prides to be in different places at different times. We see it all the time with the Nkuhumas. Oh, a little bit of affection there between the lionesses. Clean up all of that buffalo muck. There you go. Who needs a napkin when you've got a friend, or a sister, or an aunt? And what's so sweet about that is you can actually see the love and the enjoyment. Or not, you know. Never mind. I'll just keep my mouth shut then. So much for that being enjoyment. Oh, and that little one. Too sweet. I think it is just 2 sets of cubs of 2 different ages. But there's a noticeable size difference between the youngest ones. Morning. Oh, happy lions after a belly full of buffalo. Little one giving itself a clean. Have you noticed how dark the eyes are of the lions that we've been seeing? They've all got that very, very dark eye gene. Obviously, that's not unexpected. It's quite a common eye colour, even though amber eyes in the Nkuhuma Pride is the only one with it. It's quite common to see lionesses or lions with amber eyes. And I haven't seen a single lion with light-coloured eyes here. Not yet, anyway. Well, I've seen the Ridge Pride. I've seen one of the Ngama females. I've seen Halftail. I've seen Fang, the 2 males out of 4 for the dominant coalition. Oh, cute. What's she looking at? Bright-eyed curiosity. Too sweet. Oh, did anybody get a shot there under the tail? I was distracted. Morning! Look at the tatty ears. Take lots of screenshots because that will be really useful for identifying these ladies when we see them again in the future. Because we cover such enormous distances, I think we're going to find keeping up with the different lion prides not difficult, but certainly more complicated because there's just more options. Unfortunately, we've actually got a long way that we need to go, so we're going to leave our beautiful lions for now and head off on our journey. But while we do that, let's send you back over to Djuma.